morning.
Oh, good morning again.
We're recording a little late. Jeff, you did a show last night on a rooftop. How was it?
It was fine. It was cold.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to. They're like, "You want to come on out?" And I was like, "Oh, boy, you got to take the work when you can get it these days." You go out there and you're up on the roof, freezing your butt off. And you're like, "Well, why aren't you guys home drinking? What are you coming out here to drink for?" But people want to do it.
Were the crowd into it? Was there an audience?
Yeah, there's an audience. There was probably like, I don't know, 2, 4, 6, 8, probably like 15 people.
It's always a good sign when you start counting by twos.
Yeah, it was all couples. It was just a bunch of couples being like, "Hey, it's Monday. Let's go drink on a roof." But it's like, get your lives together.
Well,
nice.
I'm glad that you got to put on a show. It depends on who you talk to. Either the Washington football team put on a show Sunday, or did the Detroit Lions? How do you feel?
I think the Detroit Lions put on a heck of a show, and we're going 10-6.
We should just change the name of this show 10-6 ?
We're still going 10-6. Oh man. Yes, did we blow a huge lead?
21 points.
Yep, sure. We blew a big lead. But, we won the game, and you don't see how these wins happen. You just see the W in the column.
That's right. Through the lens of history, it's just wins and losses, isn't it?
Yep, it's just W's and L's, and this is just another W. They went down to the wire, and we needed a 60-yard field goal, and our defense did collapse a little bit. But, other than that, Stafford might be back. He played nice.
Is he going to be back for the game, though? They say there's no structural damage in his thumb. It looks like his thumb in his throwing hand. So he should be back this week against Carolina, who looks to be without Christian McCaffrey.
That's going to be good.
That's going to be a big boost. However, Mike Davis has been torching people in his absence. So you think we're going to go 10-6?
I'm back on 10-6. Because look at Swift got his first start.
Swift is the only thing to be excited about. No, that's Ezekiel Elliott. That's Zeke.
Oh, is that Zeke? Is that what he does?
That's what he does.
Well, Swift's
literally after he touches the ball anytime.
Yeah, well, Swift is going to start. He's going to start going.
He's spaghetti.
Pasta. Yeah, he's eating. Yeah. He's gonna do that every single time. A whole calorie meal.
Because as we've discussed on this show, the importance of being hydrated. So you gotta.
He's gonna. This is his big tall glass of Kool-Aid.
I would love it so
sit
much
down to a full meal
to see a player doing that. He look. Just after a big rip, he's like, just this.
Yeah. It's a minute and a half long celebration. Both teams are gonna be standing there, like, just wait for him to do the whole meal.
How fun would that be to just he rips off a big play and he's like, this game's over, and he's just like,
oh, that'd be great if we could, have him do the check, please, because boy, oh boy, we have a running back.
It's exciting to watch him. DeAndre Swift has really, really, honestly kept my hope alive for the Detroit Lions. Now, that said, it's difficult to be hopeful about anything while Matt Patricia is still the head coach of the Lions. I was trying to figure out a scenario where even after a win, they fire him because, yet again, he did blow a 21-point lead. That blown lead is 100% the fault of the coaches, particularly Corey Undlin on the defensive side and Matt Patricia as the head coach and the defensive mastermind. But let's let Matt Prater have his heroics, okay? Because he's had a rough year. And to come in and kick a 59-yard field goal not in Denver is a difficult task, and he deserves the credit.
Yep, he did it at home. Prater is back. We were all worried, like, is Prater on his way out? He's back. He's back to true form. Looks even better. Stafford's back. Swift is here. The team is ready to go 10-6.
Did you, when Matt Prater hit that field goal, did you do what I did and just go, oh, We win on a Prater. Ah!
That's fun. No, I did not do that. Oh man, I did think we were going to lose that game for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I was like, this is blown. Braden Coombs is going to be the interim head coach, and I just feel like when Matt Patricia gets eventually fired from this team, whether it be this season, during, or after, there is going to be just this monumental weight lifted off of my chest. It'll be nice to 100% be invested in the Lions again. But I don't know if I texted this to you yesterday or not. This has hands down been the most difficult time in my life to be a Detroit Lions fan.
Really? Why is that?
And we went 0-16.
Yeah.
Because it's just more of the same. You know, like at least with Rod Marinelli, like it seemed like there was a slight climb and that was a full rebuild. And then there was just the complete drop off to the 0-16. And then, you know, we have Matt Patricia now after coming from Jim Caldwell, where we had 4 seasons and only one was a losing season at 7-9. And it was just like, okay, it feels like we can believe in this team. And then he just pushed the friggin' big red button to blow everything up.
Yeah, he did. The defense is definitely different. But, I mean, honestly, the defense, the play calling wasn't terrible.
Until we got up.
Well, when we got up, no, but even when we got up, we still, he didn't, like, pull back and, like, take his foot off the gas. It was still, I mean, he didn't just fall into prevent and then just get carved up. He stayed on the same defensive path.
Well, I think when he got into the when we got up, especially that 21 points, I think he shifted from more of that man-heavy scheme, which for whatever reason was working.
Yeah, which usually people hate. They want him to play zone. Then he switched to zone a little bit, which is fine. But for some reason,
but that's when Alex Smith carved him up.
Yeah, I mean, apparently Alex Smith is good at carving up zone, and that's when he found out. He was like, oh, look at this guy. He's good at carving up zone. But a lot of those plays were some luck. I mean, there was a tip ball that just and it just lands right into Washington. I mean, it was a pretty lucky sequence of events. And then we get the ball back, and then we get a 3 and out. You know, every time it was kind of the offense screws and the defense had to go back on the field. Trufant, I think, should be splitting with Okuda, and they should leave Oruwariye out there by himself.
Oruwariye looks really good. I mean, and we've talked about this a number of times. There are some pieces on the defense that are very exciting. You're absolutely right. Amani Oruwariye is certainly one of them. He should be out there, no doubt about it. He had a pass deflected yesterday, and then 3 solo tackles, which, you know, you don't want to talk about your corners having tackles because ultimately you hope the guy that they're guarding doesn't have any passes caught.
That's right. Even solo tackles. He did it all by himself.
3 solo tackles. And then, I mean, above him was Desmond Trufant with 5 solo tackles, which means they were catching the ball on him.
Yeah, they were catching the ball. Yeah, well, for some reason, Patricia and everybody, they're very like veterans first, and then you got to earn your spot. Like they just have this, they just value veterans more, which I mean, sure, that's fine. But I remember Marinelli doing the same thing. He was always
his pick is sharp and his will is strong. Matt Patricia does have a very Rod Marinelli vibe to him, doesn't he?
He's got a bit of a Rod Marinelli vibe. And Marinelli, I remember doing the same thing with the vets. He'd be like, oh, we're putting the veterans out there. And he'd be like, we got some good, promising guys. We just need to win. And he just wouldn't do it. And then we didn't win a single game. And then Patricia, like Trufant comes back. And we're all like, I think Oruwariye is better than Trufant. I don't know why he's out there. But he's like, nah, Trufant's he's a veteran. We got to put him out there. And then they put him out there. And you're like, well, see, and it's going to take 2 games for him to go, you know what? I think Oruwariye should be out there by himself, and Trufant should be splitting with Okuda.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, why did it take you so long? But that's how this regime works. They did the same thing with Adrian Peterson. Swift was clearly looking better, but they're like, well, we got the veterans out there and show them how to do it. Maybe Swift can earn his way. And then finally, after forever, they finally start Swift, and then he blows up. And like, we could have had a running game this whole time.
You're absolutely right, but I do not want to glaze over the fact that you have 2 very distinct impressions of Matt Patricia. One sounds like an FDR type caliber president. He's like, well, I don't know why. We've got to change things and move on to the right path. And then the other one is Cher from Clueless. I don't know why he has been out there for 2 games, but he's been playing a lot better. Like, as if it was such a different.
That's right. Have you seen these Patricia games, though? I mean, that's very much who you're getting. Are you getting FDR or are you getting Cher from Clueless? Depends. The Vikings, we got Sheriff from Clueless. You know, Atlanta.
We got Sheriff from Clueless in Washington.
Yeah, we got a little touch of Sheriff from Clueless, a little touch of FDR. He's starting to mix them up. You know, the perfect coach is a combination of FDR and Sheriff from Clueless meeting at a 50-50 point, just being a touch of each, floating around, feeling it out, you know, making some mistakes, but then correcting those same mistakes.
I think
But
I think you're right. And that's a coach you want to play for.
yeah, you want to coach. I mean, we got FDR during the Jags game. I'll tell you that. And then the Vikings and the Colts. We got a little Sheriff from Clueless. And then Washington football team game. A little bit of both.
I honestly think that the only team that we actually beat was the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This team that we actually beat. What about? I think we beat Arizona.
I think we beat. I mean, again, I believe that Kyler Murray, he tossed 3 picks. I think it really looked like, based on especially how they've been playing, it looks like they looked past the Lions. But yes, I will cede my argument. We did beat them by more. You know, what was the score?
That was a win. That counts as a win, I believe.
It was a win, and when we go back, it only is that.
See,
but that was also a 3-point win.
Yeah, but you know, a W is a W, no matter how you get it.
We beat the Cardinals by 3 points. We beat the Falcons by 1 point. We beat the Washington football team by 3 points, and then we beat the Jags by 18 points. And that's only because we had 2 weeks to prepare for them.
That's right. Yeah, you give him 2 weeks, he'll get you ready. That's what I like about him. You know, he's a 2-week coach, prepares, and he beats you. So
he works a little bit slower than the rest of the league.
Yeah, he's got to write out a whole plan. And also, I mean, Flowers was out too. If we would have had Flowers, I think this would have been a much sturdier beating.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe
tackling, Flowers they would get to Smith. We were getting to Smith an okay amount. I mean, thank God, because he's got that dead foot. But
that's crazy with that whole what is that? It's like a prosthetic on his leg so he can lift his leg off the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got a dead foot.
How does that work? How do you have to have a machine on your leg so you can lift it off the ground? Is that what it is?
Something like that. Yeah, it's like, well, because like the thing, he like snaps, so his foot just like does that. So he wears a brace, I think, that like keeps it here, and then he can't like feel his foot very well, but he uses the brace. So yeah, did we almost get beat by a man with a dead foot? Yes, but we didn't.
So if he's at home, if Alex Smith is at home with his family and he's watching his kids play in the pool and he's sitting on the diving board, the foot's just there like this.
I guess.
If he doesn't have the brace on?
Just soaking his foot, I guess. Maybe be getting a foot massage and be like, all right, I'm going to switch to the other foot. He's like, when did you switch? I didn't feel a thing. And they're just rubbing his dead foot.
Do you think that when Alex Smith is at home with his family, maybe he's in the basement bar area that what has become known as the man cave? Do you think that while he is sitting on a bar stool down there, his cat is just playing with his foot?
Yeah, just batting at it. He's got no idea. He's just having a beer. Get out of here. Cat's gnawing on his foot. Yeah, maybe. Smith was playing very well before the dead foot, and it sounds like he's starting to get back to it.
Yeah, it's what a feel-good story. All the media outlets have been saying it. What a feel-good story for Alex Smith. A couple other feel-good things regarding the Detroit Lions. We've talked about it all year long. Jamie Collins is a flat-out stud.
Oh yeah, he's back. He's our best linebacker. Probably might even be one of our best defensive players.
I think he's our best defensive player.
Yeah.
13 tackles yesterday, 9 of which were solo.
Oh yeah, he's been saving our butt. We needed him.
Well, I take that back. I don't know that he's our best defensive player because I don't know. No one expected this to happen, but every single week, game in and game out, Romeo Okwara comes out and makes huge plays. He had another sack yesterday, and then I think he's at like 6 on the year. He had a blocked punt last week. He is lighting it up, man.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, see, we got some pieces. I think we are just another Patricia draft away from really putting this defense together.
I can't even joke about it. It causes me stress. I have worked hard through this whole quarantine to get my blood pressure down, and you're negating all of the hard work I've done. I can't think about it. I hate it.
He's gonna be back once we go 8-8 or better.
This is the first in the time of our talking. I've never heard you go down. I'm surprised you didn't say 12-4. If that's even possible.
I still believe we're going 10-6.
10
but
6.
8-8 or better, he stays. Because Patricia has what, 2 more years on his contract?
I don't know. I think
he's
honestly, I think his contract will outlast the length of his life, given the way he takes care of himself.
Oh yeah, he's taking during COVID. Obesity is a big factor. But I believe his contract is up and Bob Quinn's. They're all up at the same time Stafford is, I believe. Let
me check his contract situation.
I think they're all up around 2022.
It runs through 2022.
I think so is Stafford. I think Quinn does too.
And Quinn's does as well. Let me see Matthew Stafford when he goes through. So, I mean, worst case scenario is 3 more years. Is that what she's going to do? And he's on it through 2022. You're right. It's a full-blown rebuild come 2022. Why not start earlier?
All 3 of them. I say just wait until 2022. I say
my God. You wait till 2022, I'm going to end up with an Arizona Cardinals tattoo. That's what's going to
That way we can all have all right, well, we all 3 of you did it. I guess we'll see you later. Or we'll keep you forever after nothing but 10-6 seasons for the rest of our lives.
That works 2 ways though, the wins and losses column, because there hasn't been a 10-6 year in almost 10 years. When's the last time the Lions were 20-6?
10-6 is we went 11 and I think we went 11-5 a few years ago. Remember we had that great defense
with
it was with Caldwell. I think it was Caldwell's first or second year.
Yeah.
Then we went to the playoffs and got beat by Dallas.
I think you're right. Mm-hmm. I think you're right.
And then we fired that man because he wasn't doing good enough.
Yeah, because we weren't winning playoff games. We're barely winning regular season games. And that's my biggest problem is we come out and we barely beat Washington yesterday, but we beat the teams that we're supposed to beat, and we can't play the other ones. You want to wait through 2022. You want to give Patricia and Quinn and Stafford their shot. Fine, whatever. Here's what I want to do. I want the Detroit Lions to start treating this like an NBA franchise. I want them blowing up, throwing away the best of our players. I want them getting draft capital. I want them getting young, promising players. I want to build up that right side of the line. I want DeAndre Swift to have Grand Canyon-sized holes to run through. Yesterday, he ran for 81 yards on 16 carries with a long of 17. He also had 5 receptions for 68 yards. Yeah, on 5 targets. 5 of 5 targets. That's crazy. He's
good. He's a great ball catcher. Yeah, I love him. Yeah. I mean, huge Swift guy, and I think a little touch of AP is the right amount, just to splash. And then Kerryon Johnson had a play, and he did okay. He ran, I think, for 8 yards. So they're starting to kind of maybe get the running back situation good. Get that ready.
3 yards.
Was it a 3-yard run for Kerryon? Yeah. Jeez Louise, Kerryon.
And I know that because he only had 1 carry for 3 yards.
Oh, boy, Kerryon. He is Riddick. He is full-blown just turned into Theo Riddick.
Yeah.
He's just out there. He's good at pass blocking, and he can catch, and that's about it. But he can't run anymore.
I honestly thought, I don't know, I do believe that if they were to give him just a little bit of enough snaps to get a rhythm, I do think he could kind of still slash a little bit, but it remains to be seen, and I'd have to be proven wrong.
Yeah, I think his vision isn't the greatest, but I think he's got speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so with that, and I don't know, I'm surprised the offense stalled a few times, but Stafford was playing much better. Marvin Hall, we got his random 60-yard touchdown catch.
He's good for one bomb, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. He's just good for one bomb a game. And then Hawkinson, I think, was a little quiet.
Hawkinson was quiet yesterday. I have my fantasy team, and it was upsetting. 2 catches for 13 yards.
But Marvin Jones showed up. He was all of a sudden there. Who we
8
even
for 96 and a touchdown. 10 targets yesterday too.
Yeah, we've been saying he's fallen off, and it looks like he's still got it. I think.
Yeah, because last game against Minnesota too, wasn't he? He was doing pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's starting to get back in and find a rhythm.
Atlanta, Marvin Jones had 5 receptions on 6 targets for 80 yards. 3 receptions on 7 targets against Indianapolis for 39 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns. Last week against Minnesota, 3 receptions on 4 targets for 1 touchdown. And then this week, 8 receptions on 10 targets for 1 touchdown. He had 96 yards.
Yeah,
So,
these are a lot of these numbers aren't so bad. The score, I think, makes it look worse than what it was. But I think our numbers were decent.
Well, you talk about the score, and yeah, the numbers were decent, and statistically, there were some things to be excited about. We won this game on the leg of Matt Prater for a 59-yard field goal. Let's not forget that Hopkins missed a field goal for them,
That's
and
true.
they blew that first drive they had down into the red zone where they got 2 sacks in a row and lost 24 yards, kicked them out of field goal position. If Hopkins makes a field goal that he should make, and they don't self-destruct on their first drive, it could be a completely different game. So everybody that talks about DeAndre Swift, we should have beaten Chicago when he dropped that pass, it's like you could make that argument for this team. But then again, maybe they wouldn't have rallied around Alex Smith and his 24-point comeback because they'd have been up more.
That's true, yeah. And then when you say that they self-destructed, they blew, did they take the sacks or did we create the sacks? Is that the defense actually stepping up and doing something? I don't think they played bad when they went on that little tear, but then when it got towards the end of the game, the defense tightened right back up and they didn't give it up. They had, the Washington football team had a chance to get it. And we stopped them, I think, twice, and the refs kept giving them more chances.
Both on Desmond Trufant.
Yeah, that terrible call on Trufant, which they're like, that should be the game. And the refs are like, no, we want more game. And then they threw a freaking flag out there. Like, just in the thing. They're like,
yeah, they're just loving it.
Yeah, the refs are like, no, I want more game. And then they're just like, try again. And we're like, that's such a even Keem Talib, who was his first time announcing. I think he did a great job.
I agree. I really enjoyed listening to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I liked when they called it. He was like, "That's not even pass interference. What is this?" Even when the announcers see it, and that's when the refs are like, "No, Lions aren't supposed to win."
Yeah.
And then our defense still held, and they couldn't actually get the win. I think before, maybe earlier in this year, that defense would have given up and we would have lost the game. But I think they were like, tighten up. Who knows what happened there? Maybe Patricia took over the play calling. Maybe with that terrible run of the 24 points was Patricia not doing any play calling help. And then he saw what was defensive coordinator was doing. So, all right, let me step in and fix this. He pulled out his little pencil and he drew up some nice plays. Who knows?
I think that could be the case, but I think it's far more likely that it's the other case. Patricia called all of the plays during that 21-point comeback. And then he's like, all right, Corey, I'm screwing the pooch.
Yes, that would happen. Corey, you can't do it anymore. I thought you do it. I can't. He's like, all right. And then he makes a defensive plan. And then we actually got those stops at the end of the game, which was great.
But you are right about the defense. They did create pressure. We only had 2 sacks, but we did have 8 hits on the quarterback. So, that is definitely some pressure.
Crazy. Yeah, we kept pushing him around, and he had to balance on his dead foot. And he's like, geez, I'm off. And he couldn't make his throws. And now we're sitting at, 4-5?
4-5. Now,
in the division, we're pretty much tied with most everybody.
I'm gonna
watch the Vikings Chicago game. Vikings won.
I did watch that.
I believe they're 4-5.
They are 4-5.
Chicago's 5-5.
The Bears are 5-5, and the Packers are 7-2. So we are in the thick of it. But I will say, the Vikings look like they are the second best team in the division.
Vikings are showing up
right now. Yeah. They are playing very well.
Vikings
the Bears' offense is awful.
Terrible offense. Bears are gonna plummet. Vikings are gonna rise. Lions, who knows, baby? We're a roll the die team. But all Patricia promised was meaningful games in December. And I'll tell you, he delivered.
Not yet. Which brings us to the upcoming games we've got to discuss. We've got the next 3 games are this weekend against Carolina. And then we've got Houston on Thanksgiving. Love a Thanksgiving game, especially since this year, due to practicing safe social distancing, I get to watch it at home in the comfort of my house with my family and don't have to schmooze. I love my family, don't get me wrong, but there's the schmoozing and the clinking of the glasses, and how many times do I have to talk about how unseasonably warm it is for this time of year?
I know. Don't get me started. You go, but I don't get the thanks. Don't get me started on Thanksgiving. It's a weird holiday. I don't even understand why we do it. It's just like, hey, come home, fly home, and have turkey with us. I'm like, what? Why? What is, you're
And
like, sit down, eat turkey, and then go back home. Like, what is silly? No, I'm just going to stay in New York. Like, no, fly your butt all the way to Michigan, eat a turkey, and then
come
leave.
have
What a
dinner.
weird thing. That's all we're doing is eating a bird. Ugh. Christmas,
Whenever I
sure. You come home, you have presents, gifts, you have egg, you got a whole thing, a light up tree. It's an event.
there's
Thanksgiving,
cheer, there's a mood to it.
yeah,
It's got its
Thanksgiving is
whole
like
music genre.
I put a bird in the oven. You're gonna spend $400 on a flight and come eat it? No, I can get a bird at the supermarket down the store.
You put a bird in the oven. Yeah, it's always dry.
Yeah, it's a dumb holiday to me. I don't understand. I mean, sure, Thanksgiving, you can make a Thanksgiving meal whenever you want. I don't know why people are like, oh, I love that. It's like, you could do that tomorrow. It's mashed potatoes, turkey, and stuffing, and cranberry crap. That's all you got to do. If you don't need a special day. Just put a bird in the oven whenever you want.
That's right. And we were talking about this the other day. We've been so we only eat Thanksgiving dinner on Thanksgiving. Why isn't it just a different, like, I would rather eat it 3 times a year and have that day back.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand. It's a weird thing. It's just a meal based family get together. It's too close to Christmas.
We never ever host Thanksgiving, but it's very, very disrespectful and impolite if you go to someone's house when they're hosting and you don't bring something. A lot of times people will bring a side to help with the cooking, or a nice bottle of wine. Desserts are very, very popular. What I like to bring to the host when they are hosting Thanksgiving is I like to bring them a rather haggard, weathered looking blanket.
Oh, that's nice.
And then when they say, why are you bringing me a blanket? I will say, well, this is what the Pilgrims brought to the Native Americans and caused them mass disease.
Oh my God, sad. And then what do they say?
And then they snuggle it.
Oh, wow, really? They don't mind that you said any of that stuff, huh?
I say this to the children. I don't tell.
Wow, that's terrible. I usually do Friendsgivings, and a couple years ago, they like put me in charge. Like, hey, can you bring stuffing? Easy peasy. I love making some stovetop. It's always a hit. It's standard.
Stovetop is always a hit. It's probably one of the best instant dishes out there.
It's easy, and everyone's like, oh, this is just like a classic. It's not like weird. There's no raisins in it, like weird people put in. My dad's side of the family they have raisins or crap in it and nuts. Gross. Give me some stovetop. Nope. But then last year, they're like, hey, you want to bring? And I was like, yeah, I'll do stuffing again. And they're like, oh, somebody else said they already called. Do you want to do creamed corn? It's like, what? Creamed corn? So I brought creamed corn, right? And I
wouldn't have gone. I'd have said no. I don't. I'll do the dish. I'll eat it home.
Yeah, I brought the creamed corn for them. Put it down. Nobody touched my creamed corn. It just sat there, ignored entirely. No one. I was like, why did I bring this creamed corn that you wanted? And nobody even wanted it. I don't like creamed corn. And then I took it home. Took it home in a Tupperware full of creamed corn on the subway. A homeless person was like, "Can you spare some money? I'll get something to eat." And I was like, "I got a whole thing of creamed corn if you want it." And then the guy went, "Nah." And then I moved on. And I just got home and threw it away.
That definitely would not have happened had you had a leftovers of stovetop, but it never would have happened because there are never any leftovers of the stovetop.
People always eat all the stovetop.
Emily and I this year during the quarantine, I've been trying to take control of my health again. So I've been out there running, and Emily and I have also started doing a vegan diet 5 days a week. And this year for Thanksgiving, outside of the turkey, we are doing all vegan sides. And I got to be honest with you, this whole vegan thing has been very, very tasty.
Really?
I've really enjoyed it a lot.
I thought vegan food was supposed to be bad.
I that's what they would lead you to believe, but it has been. I've never eaten better for an extended period of time.
Well,
it's
that's
great.
Good.
I love it. So we're gonna have the turkey, but everything else is gonna be vegan, and I'm very excited about it.
Do you think? Have you been eating meat lately?
Like I said, we do it. We do vegan 5 days a week, and then on the weekends we'll kind of steer clear, and we'll maybe get a pizza with real cheese and some pepperoni or something.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
okay. Because I think if you do vegan for a while, then all of a sudden one day you just give yourself a big old pile of meat, you'll screw your guts up.
Well, that's why we do 5 and 2, because it's not. I mean, people can believe what they want. It's not for animal rights that we're doing this. We're doing it.
I know
to
you
try
hate
and
animals.
Yeah,
I've seen you kick a dog before.
I have on my first album, I have a bit where I drowned 12 raccoons. I don't care about the animal. Okay. But
yeah, what a nice vegan man. You're just drowning raccoons, slitting a rabbit's throat. You're a monster. But
hey, you guys looking for a lucky rabbit's foot?
He's healthy when he does it.
Well, yeah. So Thanksgiving will be fun. Do you are do you have something assigned this year? What you're gonna eat or you make for your Friendsgiving?
This year, well, we're gonna try to host one ourselves this year with like
Oh, that's the
maybe like
bird. That's
yeah
the bird.
yeah. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the whole thing. I'm taking over, be in charge.
You gonna put it in the oven or are you gonna deep fry it?
Put it in the oven. I'm not deep fry. I never deep fried a turkey before. I'm not gonna take my chances at my
Have
first
you
big
ever put a
event.
turkey in the oven before?
I put a chicken. I did a full chicken.
That's that's very different.
I mean, it's a smaller bird, but it's just the same thing. You know, you just smother it in butter, toss it in the oven.
Don't forget the rosemary and the thyme.
Yeah, a little thyme, rosemary, and
Did you
just
get a
lots of
roasting
butter.
pan yet?
I use a lot of butter.
Yeah. Yeah. That you should maybe consider getting some plant-based butter. It's better on the cholesterol, but gives you the same overall.
And it's a meal event. You know, if a couple
It's
people come over, I'm buttering the crap out of everything. So they're just like, "Oh, it all tastes great." It's like it's because it all tastes like butter. You can't go wrong.
Did you get yourself a roasting pan yet? We just got a roasting pan yesterday for the turkey and the drippings.
We got one. We got a roasting pan already. We're like, yeah, we're lock stock. Yeah, I cooked well, I mean, it was like a 2 or 3 pound chicken. It's a small little chicken, but
Yeah, and I mean, if you're having a Friendsgiving, it's substantially bigger on that turkey size. I think we got a turkey, but like because of the situation with COVID and everything, and I mean, the shelves are out of paper towel and toilet paper again. We're on the turkey. You had to get a 12 to 16 pound turkey, and that is too much turkey for the 4 of us, especially
oh yeah,
considering I have a 9 and 8-year-old daughter.
yeah, they're not going to be able to put that much away.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's the problem with kids. They don't eat enough.
No. Well, they will. They'll eat the sides. I'm making
Yeah,
vegan mashed potato bowls tonight, and they're gonna crush them.
that's great.
Yeah.
And then you get to eat your turkey with your family in your home
Oh,
and watch the Lions just a nail biter no matter what and win another game.
I can't wait to sit down with my family and be able to have the type of dinner conversation we generally have as a family and not have to like be on our best behavior because we're around other people, because I think it'll be a very fun conversation to tell the girls actually what Thanksgiving's all about.
Yeah, what are you gonna say?
I'm gonna have to do some research, but it's got a hidden vibe to it, very much like Columbus Day. Like, sure, we celebrate it, and sure, people get off work and everything, but some bad things happened. You just stole land.
On Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Well, I think the land stealing was a little bit later. I think Thanksgiving was just the initial meal.
Is
And
that
we're just
more
celebrating
sinister? Because stealing the land was pre-plotted. It had to have been, right?
probably, but I think the initial meal is celebrated. I think Thanksgiving should be fine. It's like this is a nice day. We all got together, but I think like a week after Thanksgiving, we should have another day where we just take a moment of silence for the whole day for what happened after Thanksgiving.
A week after Thanksgiving is something much like the Purge, where you go and just try and take as much land as you can.
Yeah, then just go out there and yeah, once we're done being thankful, then we go and find a person of color and take what they have.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah,
All right, Jeff.
yeah,
I
we're
know
a
you
terrible
got to
group.
go. I know you got to go camping, but before you go, we've got the Detroit Lions versus the Carolina Panthers this upcoming Sunday. What are your feelings? What are your thoughts? Teddy Bridgewater should be healthy. Mike Divis should be healthy. They've got DJ Moore. They've got Robbie Anderson. Their offense seems to be much better than their defense.
Right, yeah, and but McCaffrey's not in there, so
Mike Davis has been one of the leading backs this season.
has he?
Yeah, he's been very good.
Yeah, but I think we're still gonna beat him. I still because Bridgewater honestly is he's a bit of he's not an elite quarterback. You know how I feel about the elites. They scare me more than anything. And Bridgewater is a little Alex Smithy. Not a huge powerful arm, but he's a good accurate pocket guy.
Uh-huh.
So he's like an Alex Smith with a better leg. A little younger, fresher, but still same kind of style. They got a running back who is, is he doing? How good is this running back? Is he top 10? Is he huge? Is he doing?
Mike Davis.
If he's middle of the road, I think we're not. I'm not too worried.
He has been. I mean, in fantasy, I know he is one of the top 5, or was going into last week. They had to go against him. But
Because I
I
mean,
feel like
like a Delvin Cook worries me.
why
But
can't I find him?
you know, I just
Dalvin
don't.
Cook, yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think Carolina's offense is that scary. And then their defense is probably fine. I think we beat them by the skin of our teeth. I think
By
it's
the
gonna be a close
skin
one.
of our teeth.
I think it's gonna be a
Is
close one. But I
so? Do you
think
think this is a team we're supposed to beat?
yeah, I think we're supposed to beat them. I think we are a hair better than them on paper.
Okay, well, I disagree, as I'm one to do.
Okay, that's sure,
I
sure.
I don't think that they're going to do it. I think that it's going to be I don't think a bloodbath. I think this will be a very similar game to Atlanta and to the Washington game. However, I do not think we come out on top. I think we lose this game because this feels like a game we're supposed to lose. Only thing we have going for us is that Christian McCaffrey is not playing, and I mean, he beats good teams, so he would
Sure.
destroy us.
Sure, but he's not playing, so we don't got to worry about that. And how is their run defense? What rank is their run D? Because if Swift is coming out, Swift I bet feels good. He's confident. He's the starter now, and I think they're going to feed the man the ball, and he might have a field day.
Well, the rush defense for the Panthers is they're not much better than the Lions.
See?
The Lions have given up, according to NFL.com, the Lions have given up on 273 attempts, 1,274 yards. The Panthers have given up on 261 attempts, 1,245 yards. Now, they may have given up less yards, but they are giving up 0.1 yards more per carry. They've given up 2 less touchdowns, but they've given up 14. We've given up 16. And they give up among the most big play they've given up 8 20-plus yard runs. They've given up 3 40-plus yards runs, and they've given up a 98-yard touchdown.
Mm-hmm. See, I think we're going to run on them. I think we're going to be able to run on them. Swift, like I said, he's hurdling. And if we get a 100-yard rusher, Stafford always plays very well when he has a 100-yard running game, and he usually wins those games. So I think
it's
we're
an
going to get
incredible rarity that he has a 100-yard rusher, but you're right.
It's very rare, and I think he's going to get a 100-yard rusher that game. And every time he gets 100 yards, he pulls out a victory. I see it.
I mean, I want the Lions to win. I love the players. I like them all. I just
we're going to win this
I despise Matt Patricia so much that I want him fired the day before Thanksgiving.
Sure, he's a little stinker, but all he promised was meaningful games in December. He's got 2 games to make that promise come true.
You're right.
I think he's going to win this next one. The next one doesn't matter because we're in December now, and he just promised meaningful games. So he can't be like, "Oh, this guy sucks." He's like, "Hey, I just said meaningful games in December."
It's terrifying because you're absolutely right. This could go years down the line, and I just
he's like, "Hey, did I break my promise?" And we're like, "No, he didn't. This game is meaningful." Duh, that's all he promised us. He didn't promise a Super Bowl or a playoff victory. He just said, "Hey, I'll get you some. You want the games in December to mean something? I'll get you that." And he's gonna sneak his way right into there. And we're like, every December those games do mean something. And then we lose out and we go 9-7 for the next 4 years.
You've really upset me with your logic and rationale. You really, really have. And now I have to go on and have a productive day. And I'll be honest with you, I'm depressed and I want to start drinking right now.
No, don't worry. We're going 10-6.
Well, you guys have so much fun camping, and I will talk to you next week after the Lions play the Carolina Panthers.
All right. I'll talk to you next week. I'm going to go freeze my butt off.
Bundle up. Wear those long johns.
Oh, I am.
Yeah, baby. Bye-bye.
Bye.